Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Back at it again with some Spider-Man Miles Morales. I wanted to take a moment to talk about something that is apparently still a talking point within the gaming community. Though when Marvel Spider-Man Remastered was revealed, the biggest talking point from that whole entire bit was the face change of Peter Parker. So many people, myself included, were not happy with the change that Insomniac Games made to Peter Parker's face. We were trying to figure out why Insomniac decided to go forward with the change, because it didn't make any sense considering Peter Parker's original face model was totally fine as is. A lot of people were not happy at the fact that Peter Parker's face model was changed in the remastered version of Marvel Spider-Man. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't happy either when I first found out about it. It didn't make any sense to me considering Peter Parker's original face was totally fine as is, so why would Insomniac feel the need to change it, right? Apparently people are still talking about it to this day, especially with Marvel Spider-Man 2 coming up. Somehow it's still a talking point to this day that people still can't seem to get over. I wanted to make a video out of this because this was something that I believe a lot more people need to just accept. Very recently, the voice actor for Insomniac's Spider-Man, Yuri Lowenthal, ended up doing an interview lately where he elaborated on that specific talking point of people being upset over Peter Parker's face change and all that kind of stuff. To try and paraphrase what Yuri had said, he was basically all in on the idea of Peter getting a whole new face model. He was all in for it. Like, he totally agreed with it and was like, yeah, let's do it. He wanted to make sure that the players still felt something from the story that was being told, from the events that were being played out. Whatever Peter embarked on, he wanted to ensure that people still felt something. And as long as that was the case and it succeeded, that's all that matters. But long story short, he basically wants people to get over it. And I can understand why he feels that way, because like I said, it's been a talking point for such a long time regarding Marvel Spider-Man. Ever since Marvel Spider-Man Remastered got revealed, people still have not been able to accept the fact that Peter's new face model is there to stay. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't high on the idea of Insomniac changing the face model of Peter Parker. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. But at the same time, I understood why they decided to stick with it, so I accepted it. I accepted it as is, and I moved on. I understand where people are coming from, but at the same time, like, it is what it is. Yuri believes that we should get over it and move on, and I agree too. We should just get over it and accept it as is, regardless of how indifferent we are about the change. At the same time, it is what it is. Anything that we say is not going to make the people at Insomniac change their minds. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or condescending or anything like that. I'm just simply being realistic here. If you really enjoy the original face model of Peter Parker, just go and play the PS4 version of Marvel Spider-Man. I still have my copy of that game, and I'm still playing that version in comparison to the remastered version. Now, I would love to get the remastered version, but I just never got around to it, which is why I've been so accustomed to playing the PS4 version of the game. The way I see it, if y'all still like the original face model of Peter Parker, just go play the PS4 version of Marvel Spider-Man. It's still there in its original form for you to be able to experience. Just do that. I truly believe that we as a community need to accept this and just move on. Talking point has been so tiring for the longest time, with all due respect. I still want people to just accept it as is and get over it, because at the end of the day, Insomniac are not going to go back on their decision. They're not going to change their minds. They're going to stick with what they believe will work, especially as they develop Spider-Man for the next generation, or current generation as is, of consoles. And it's going to come with risks. Insomniac are doing their utmost to show their fans that they are going leaps and bounds with developing Marvel Spider-Man for this current generation of platforms. And one of those decisions was changing Peter Parker's face model. Even though it was a big risk that they took, they still did it to ensure that they met their goal. If you were a part of the team at Insomniac Games and you were being tasked change up the face model of Peter Parker for the next generation of platforms, knowing full well that so many people were going to be very disappointed with the change, the drastic change that you're making for the game. How would you convey your response to the people who are outraged? You would not like the amount of criticism that you're getting from the fans. You would not like them lashing out on you and going as far as to sending you death threats over something that shouldn't even be taken that seriously. I do want to point out that death threats are an absolute no-no. If you're going to stoop that low over a video game, you seriously need to take a hard look in the mirror and think about what you just said and how it made yourself look. Death threats are an absolute no-no. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I just want people to put themselves in the shoes of the developers at Insomniac and just think about how they would go about receiving the criticism that they are getting from the fans. How would they go about it, and what would they say to try to get the fans to better understand their position and how risky it was to make a decision that drastic. As time went on, I accepted it. They did what they did, they achieved their goal, and they're sticking with it. That's just how it is, as I'm sure any other game developer would do. It's just up to us, the fans, to find it in our hearts to understand it and accept it as is. But lashing out at the developers or at the very least still questioning about it to this day is just not going to make them change their minds. It really isn't. I want to know from you guys, did you happen to pre-order Marvel Spider-Man 2? And if so, did you pre-order just the standard edition of the game, or did you pre-order the limited edition that gives you the PS5 side plates along with the controller that are Spider-Man themed? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to know from you guys. I pre-ordered the standard edition of the game. I was not going to get the limited edition because I am on a budget. I'm really looking forward to the increase in fidelity that we're going to experience in Marvel Spider-Man 2's New York. I've seen screenshots of how New York looks like in the next game, and from what we've seen, it just looks so freaking beautiful. But just like everyone else does, I want to see more. I was very impressed with what Insomniac was able to do with increasing the fidelity in Miles Morales. Incorporating snowy weather just made the city look so much nicer to look at. I'm also curious as to whether or not the suits that we got in this game are going to transfer over into Marvel Spider-Man 2 for us to be able to use. If not, that's understandable. After you do a web trick, Miles is able to seamlessly transition into a web swing. It's the little details that just make this game so much cooler, and I'm glad Insomniac were able to implement that into this game. But to wrap this up, I will say, if you're somebody who is still annoyed at the face change that Insomniac did to Peter Parker in Marvel Spider-Man, I think it's time to just get over it and accept it. If Yuri Lowenthal, the voice actor behind Peter Parker, says that it's time to get over it, I agree. It is time to get over it and accept it as is. Insomniac is not going to go back on this decision. This is what they believe is best for the game. They believe that this is what is best for the character. We have to just accept it as is and move forward. I'm not trying to be condescending or arrogant. I'm simply just being realistic here. And I hope that you guys will find it in your hearts to understand just like I was able to. On the bright side, we are less than a month away until the release of Marvel Spider-Man 2, so the fact that we are closer to the game's release and being able to get our hands on the title, I'm so excited. We are all excited. You got to admit that. I do want to ask you guys, en route to the launch of Marvel Spider-Man 2, would you guys be interested in seeing me do a playthrough on some old school Spider-Man games along with the modern games as well? I do own a few Spider-Man titles in my collection of games that I'd be more than welcome to do a playthrough on as we get closer to launch. Would you guys be interested in seeing a playthrough on each of those games? If so, let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you guys have to say. But that being said, I want to thank y'all so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, you're more than welcome to drop a like on it. And if you enjoy this type of content, you're more than welcome to hit that subscribe button along with that bell notification so you can be notified of when I upload my next video. But until then, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Discreet, and I'll catch you in the next video.